Finally, it is warm enough to start doing some outdoor DIYing. And look at this. I picked up 2 of these. They are in the plus section, $5 planters, but wow, look how nice they are. That is such a bargain compared to any other hardware store or department store. I'm also going to be seeing how much money I can actually save doing some DIYs, some upcycling, making some old things new again, and doing a huge front door makeover. So make sure to stick around all the way to the end. I'll show you the amazing before and after. But before we jump in, hello and welcome. My name is Shannon from thedailydiyWire.com. Now let me show you what this porch looks like before. As you can see, the fall and winter weather has been really rough on our front porch here. It is kind of a hot mess, but I'm not surprised. This is just something we do every spring. We take everything off, hose it down, wash it off, and kind of start over again. But this time we're doing some mega changes. But I also want to spend the least amount of money possible, and so we're going to start with this front door and DIY it. This isn't the first time I painted this front door. I actually did this finish back in 2018. So if you like the finish of this door, I do have that video. I'll link down below for you. You can see it's held up pretty good. I actually did this back in 2018, so 7 years ago almost. It's held up pretty good considering my little guard dog there helping. It's got some scratches on it from wreaths and just normal wear and tear, but for the most part, it held up pretty good. So you may notice this door in some of my shots in my videos, and it's actually a 100-year-old door that we converted into a barn door style pocket door that houses my office on the other side of this. And the reason I'm drawing your attention to this door is because of this beautiful finish, this faux painting technique. And I painted this door about a year ago last summer, and it turned out so good that I thought, you know, we're gonna take this painting technique and we're gonna move it to the front door. And we're not just gonna add that finish to the front door, we're also going to give it a completely different look. Now, I found this door at Lowe's, more of the style that I was wanting, kind of the rectangle windows. I just did not want to pay the price to get a brand new door. As you can see, this door was over $1,400, and that does not include installation, which can go up to $4,000, pretty crazy. And I will show you every step of how we're going to do that here in just a second. But I want to give you this tip. Grab these paper craft rolls from the Dollar Tree. They make great drop cloths. You just tape them to the floor. And as you can see, this one got used a lot, so worth the money, and it saved my floor, and actually used it for other painting too. Great for even putting on your craft table to protect that. Now we're going to start on this door, and of course it's going to need a good cleaning. I just took a wet rag. I didn't use any soap, no spray, no cleaners. I wanted this to be a nice smooth surface. So step 1 was clean. Step 2 is paint your door a solid kind of light tan color. Now I'm going to highly recommend this paint. As you saw, I've used it before, so it has been to the test, and I do recommend. This is a mineral chalk paint, so it is something awesome that you don't have to do any prep work on your surface. No sanding, no priming. You just paint the door, which is so nice. It saves you some steps, saves you some time. I will also recommend using a chalk paint brush. It's going to get down into some of those cracks and grooves for you, especially the door with these kind of panels on them. It definitely helps kind of get in there and give you a good coat and start to your base. So I did both sides of the door here, just one coat. We're going to be adding layers. We want texture, we want dimension here. So I just did one coat. It doesn't have to be completely solid. Next up is step 3, and that is adding your glaze. Again, I will link this down below for you. This is the color Java Brown. I'm doing something, it looks very dark, but by the time we do this technique, it's gonna lighten it up, so don't freak out when you open the can. We're gonna use a chip brush here, and sometimes you can get those from Dollar Tree, so keep an eye out for those. We're going to use that and start on one of those panels. And the technique here is we're trying to make this look like real wood. So keep in mind the way the grain of the wood is going to go if we took pieces of wood and put them together. So you'll see me doing vertical and horizontal strokes with a paintbrush here. Now this is not a paint. You don't want to use too much as it will start to kind of slide off. So you want a thin coat. And once you get that on there, we're going to come in with this broom brush. I got this on Amazon. I'll link it down below for you. Still keeping in mind the panel and the wood grain direction. So at the top and the bottom, we're going to go horizontally, and in the middle, we're gonna go vertically with that broom brush. What that's doing is it's starting to take some of that glaze off and add in some of those wood grain strokes in there. And you're gonna start to see some of this magic start to happen, but really this is what creates the best kind of finishing look, is this little dustpan broom. You can find these at Dollar Tree, which I love, or I think I got this one on Amazon. So I'll link everything you're seeing today down below if you want to recreate this look. It is so pretty. So look how fabulous this looks. And then we're just gonna kind of get going with this. I wanted to show you sort of how in the direction of the wood grain that I'm applying this paint. So it gave you kind of a direction to go whenever, if you try this for yourself in your own front door. You do, again, want to make sure you're keeping in mind the direction of the wood grain. So the middle part is going to be kind of a combination of vertical and horizontal, where the sides are just going to be vertical. Looks pretty amazing, right? Here's a kind of pulled back look and then an up close look. And then let's talk about the window at the top. Obviously, we are gonna go for the more rectangle windows versus this kind of standard half moon shape. So I wanted to black out these windows. I'm using some chalk paint to do that, 2 coats on each side, because we're gonna add panels in front of these, and I didn't want light coming through the door and kind of making it look like you can still see some of that half circle shape in there. And then once that was dry, super important is having a really high quality finishing top coat. So again, I'll link this down below for you. You want to add 2 coats of this onto your door. I'm using another chalk paint brush to apply this in the same direction that I did the door, all the paint to the door. So that way we didn't lose all the detail that we just worked to create with those broom brushes. Now I had to get super creative with this. I wanted like a cracked glass look because it just makes it look a little bit more high end versus just kind of like a frosted glass. Here are a couple pictures of some inspiration doors that I really love the glass in. And I was luckily able to find this plexiglass on Amazon. I'll link it down below for you. It comes in different sizes. I got the 8x12 size, and we're gonna make a frame to house these plexiglass panels. So I grabbed some wood from Lowe's, and I also grabbed some T brackets and some L brackets to put this together because this wood is not super thick. I didn't think it would be thick enough to be able to do pocket holes in. So what we're gonna do is start measuring out how wide we want this panel, and then also measure in between where we need those brace pieces. That's also going to go in between each panel and on the ends. So my frame ended up being 27 inches wide, and then each one of the vertical pieces was 11.5 inches long. Now that we have all our pieces, we're gonna build it, starting with that outside frame first. So we're gonna use the L brackets, 1 on each corner. Something super important you wanna keep in mind here is that you are gonna be laying those plexiglass panels in there, and you don't want them sitting on top of the brackets. You want to put them as far into the corners as you can to leave some more space around the wood where those panels are going to rest. I learned that the hard way right here and had to take them off and kind of start over. All right, so here is me just checking to make sure everything was good and secure before starting to add the middle pieces. Now I'm going to be using T brackets here, and again using the plexiglass pieces as a guide to make sure I have enough space back there in between the brackets for these to lay flat up against the wood. So we're going to add the T brackets here. I spaced mine every 9 1/8 inches to make them evenly spaced from the ends and the middle, and it would just all look nice and even and centered. So here it is, flipping it over, having my frame finished and finding out I have a good size crack in there, but no big deal. We're gonna take some spackling, fix that right up. Honestly, we're gonna be adding all of that paint texture and wood look to this. You're really not gonna notice this at all anyway. I would be a little bit more concerned if we needed to paint this a solid color. You'd probably see it a little bit easier then, but honestly, don't get too worried about it if this happens to you. That wood is just really brittle and really thin, so it doesn't take too much to crack it. So I'm going to be doing the front and back side of this door. So I built 2 of those frames, and we're going to repeat that same faux wood grain technique on these frames. So it all seamlessly looks like it all belongs together. So starting with that coat of tan-ish, lightish, creamish color chalk paint on there. I did 2 coats on the top, just 1 on the sides. I figured it wasn't going to matter too much on the sides, but I wanted a good solid coat on the tops of these. And then we're going to come in with that glaze. Again, adding that first layer with a chip brush. I did go around the edges first because I wanted the tops to be the pretty side, the best looking side. So if you do those side pieces first, you can kind of smooth anything out on the top that might have kind of squished over. But we're doing the same exact technique, using that broom brush and then the dustpan brush, and then flipping it on the side and doing all the top and just doing 1 coat of that, letting it dry. It does take, I would say I let this sit overnight before I did anything else with it, but you need at least 3 or 4 hours for that glaze to completely cure. Now we're going to go back to the plexiglass. We don't want it to be clear and see-through because then you're going to see the door, you're going to see that blackout window that we painted. We don't want that, so we're going to create an illusion here using some matte black spray paint. We're going to add a couple of coats to that. Now this plexiglass has a smooth side and a texture side. You're gonna spray the flat, smooth side. Then we're going to be using this awesome magic material. It's construction mounting tape. This stuff is super heavy duty. It is super sticky, permanent. And what I like most about it is not an adhesive that like a glue. So there's no mess, there's no dry time. You stick it on your frame. We're going to put the textured side of our plexiglass down into each corner where we added that adhesive strips. Push that down and it is stuck for life, like good to go. And we can do that on all 3 of those panes before being able to then hang this on the door. I couldn't tell you how happy I was in this moment when I flipped this over and my idea finally worked, came together and worked. And then I had to come up with an idea of how to hang this thing on the door. So I had more of that construction tape adhesive. I was going to put magnets on the back. I was going to add some washers and screw it on because we have that lip of the window there that's kind of in the way, keeping us from laying it on there flush. But I thought, you know what? We're just going to take that construction adhesive. It holds up to 300 pounds per roll. So I knew we were fine. This thing is pretty light. So had hubby help me here, kind of center it, level it out, and then just literally stuck it right into the construction adhesive. That stuff is amazing. It is not coming back off. It was easy to do, quick to do. And Honey is so beautifully modeling the door for us. And finally, I am getting that look of that fancy door without the high expensive price tag. So of course I did the same thing to the front of the door and oh my goodness, so excited. It looks so good. I did have some holes in this door from the previous door knocker that we had on there. So I had one of these magnetic wreath hangers that just stuck right on the door because obviously this is a metal door, not a wood door. So it stuck right on there and that is going to be perfect for hanging this wreath. So I found this wreath on Target's website. I really liked the ribbon hanging off the bottom and I thought, you know what, I can do a freebie DIY here with a wreath that I already have. I had this for years now. And I also had some ribbon already left over from some Christmas projects. So all I had to do is just take this ribbon and tie it onto the bottom, easy peasy, like a 1-minute DIY and a cute, simple upgrade. I do want to show you this ribbon though. It is so cool. It's kind of like a suede. It is super soft on both sides and I'll link it down below for you, another Amazon find, and you can see I have a ton on a roll so I can do this with use this for so many other different projects. So I was excited to have it on hand to be able to just gussy up this wreath, make it a little bit more modernized, give it a totally different look without spending any money at all. So I took one strand, tied it on the bottom, took the second strand, loosened up the knot, kind of stuck it underneath that knot to add a second layer, and then just tightened up that knot. Just that easy. And this wreath was the absolute perfect finishing touch to this door. I would say a huge win and score here. The original one that I looked at that was inspiration was over $1,400, and this DIY cost under $100. Now, while I was working on the door, hubby was working on the front porch decking. You can see it is a hot mess. We have refinished this twice now since we've lived here. Over 8 years now. So it has it's been through the ringer, and we have stained it and sealed it twice in the past. This is what it's looking like again. So instead of restaining it, we decided to go a different route this year. Honey as our special assistant, thumbs up for her. She does hard work. We decided to get this deck correct instead and just paint this on. It's actually texturized. And whenever we would stain this deck and then seal it, it would get kind of slippery. And my dad has a hard time, and Brian's mom has a hard time getting around. So it was a little bit slippery and a little bit scary for them even. So we decided this is probably a better way to go. It's got some texture in it, some grip in it. 2 coats later, and it totally transformed the deck, and it looks so much better. So big thanks to my hubby for taking care of this project, and this only cost about $50 to upgrade, which I thought was a great investment. Now let's talk about this side table. I really wanted a new side table, but I really didn't want to spend money on a new side table. Prices are getting crazy. And this was kind of my inspiration. I love this wicker one with the wood top, but it was $449 at Pottery Barn. Absolutely not. Like, there's no way. But we can get a similar look by doing some DIYing. So first things first, I went ahead and cleaned everything up and found kind of a wicker-ish color at Walmart spray paint. This is down to earth. I'll link it down below for you. I think it was $5 or $6 for this can of spray paint. And yeah, my arm hurt really, really bad the next day because it was a lot of nooks and crannies in this table. So what I did is I flipped it over to upside down first, and then had to stick my arm in there and get all of those little spindles in there, and walked around this thing probably 400 times because every time I would walk by, I'd find another spot that I missed. But a good first coat helps. And then once that dried, I flipped it over to the right side so that way the top of it wouldn't get damaged. I always do things upside down first and then flip them over so that I don't have to flip them again, and it doesn't ruin any kind of spray paint or paint that I have started with. So here we go, just another second coat, and gave the top 2 coats of that too, which is very similar to the light tan color that we added to the front door, right? And I did that on purpose because we're going to come in and we are going to give this top a wood look just like we did the front door. So once that paint dried, I got out my glaze again, and we're going to do the exact same technique that we did to the front door to the top of this table. Now, very, very lightly, I went ahead and taped off the metal part of this table. You got to be very careful though, because spray paint likes to peel off really easily. So, I mean, I just very lightly went around this. And then that was just enough to keep any kind of glaze off the metal for me so I could go around. I did the sides first with the glaze and then did the top. Same technique here, using the chip brush first, using that broom brush, and then using the dustpan brush. I think it is so cool that you can get a faux wood look on something that was not wood to begin with. This was like a chipboard wood. So now it looks so much better. Once all of that was completely dry, time to seal it up. I gave it about 3 coats of a clear matte spray, not just the top, but the bottom too. Now I'll show you the finished look once we put this porch all together, but let's head back to Dollar Tree, grab those planters and a couple pool noodles because we are going to turn these into the most amazing fern planters for this front porch. You're going to be amazed. So we're going to start with our planter. Inside the planter, I had some decorative edging blocks, bricks, hanging out in the garage, and we're going to use those to do two things. It is going to weigh this planter down, and it's also going to help us hold up these pool noodles that we're going to use to put the plants in with. So first things first, I have this cool knife from Dollar Tree. It's a pool noodle knife, but some of you have said it's also a lettuce cutter. So if you have a lettuce knife, that works too. It cuts through this foam really easily. So we're going to cut this pool noodle down. I put some around the outside of those bricks to keep everything snug in there. And then the last of the pool noodle, I'm going to use those on either side of the first pool noodle that I cut and stuck down in between the bricks. Snug it all in there. And then these are the amazing ferns that I was influenced by from another influencer. I saw them on her porch and they looked so good. And I thought, I have such a brown thumb. This is the year. We are not killing any more ferns. We're going to buy some really, really nice ones and we're going to use those instead. And let me tell you, I'm already so glad I did because these are gorgeous. They look really, really lifelike and they're super affordable too. So I'll link them down below for you. Totally have been worth the investment. So I went ahead, stuck it down into that pool noodle, and you can see it was just too tall. Take two, we're gonna cut this pool noodle down a little bit and then use that as the support for these ferns. Now, I'm a little bit worried that these could blow away if there's any kind of storm or something, so I am gonna add some adhesive in there to help hold this down and also hold it down to the actual planter, but I didn't do that in this video. I should have, but it's something I'm definitely gonna do in the future. So we have done our DIYing, we have done all of the hard work. Now my favorite part of all is putting this all together, adding the accessories and making my vision come to life. So this is a rug I got on Amazon. I actually bought it back like Black Friday, so it has been in a box and I was a little bit worried. You know, had my style changed? Did I change my mind? Am I still gonna love this? But honestly, oh my gosh, this is like the best rug I think I've ever bought. You can see you can use it indoors or outdoors. You can hose it down. It's going to hold up to the weather and look at it. Oh my goodness. I am so happy with this purchase. I went back on Amazon, even though I got this on sale for Black Friday, it's still only $50 for this 5x7 rug. So still a really great price on a rug that you should be able to use for years and years. Now to add our patio furniture, which is another Amazon buy, but I've had it for 4 years now and it's held up really, really well. So if you're looking for some affordable patio furniture that'll ship right to your front door, these are them. They look so pretty. I wanted something very Pottery Barn looking because they have some outdoor wing chairs on their website. This was as close as I could get at a bargain price. So again, I'll link these down below for you. The cushions have held up great for us, just to kind of wipe everything off every year to make them look fresh. And then look at this fresh new table. Oh my goodness. Again, going for that Pottery Barn look without the Pottery Barn price. Looks so, so cute. These 3 accessories, again, I've had them for years. They've been on this front porch for probably 3 years minimum. I added some black spray paint to the globe, freshened it up, cleaned everything up, put them right back on there. So no investment there, but a nice fresh look with the fresh look of the porch. I did buy new pillows. These are from Target. I'll link them down below for you. I did spray them with some weatherproof spray so they can hold up to the sun and any kind of moisture. I did get a new layering rug and front door rug. That is a really easy and simple and inexpensive way to freshen up your front door that you can enjoy and your guests can enjoy. I think it's worth the investment and it's not a big investment either. Those are both from Target as well, so I'll link them down below. And then those amazing fern planters that we just created. Look how nice these planters look. Oh, I am so happy with these. They turned out awesome. $5 planters from Dollar Tree, 100% worth it. Now for the big before and after. So of course here is the before, looking a little rough, looking a little dated, and now our hard work is paid off. Look how cute this door is. I can't even. If you don't get up close to it, you'd never even know it was like a DIY door. And even when you are up close to it, it still looks really, really good. So the addition of those great planters, the update of the decking, it just needed it. You know, sometimes you just have to go with it. It's not something you want to do, but it is totally worth it when you're done. And this table was another, looks brand new, looks high end, literally didn't cost more than a can of spray paint. I cannot wait to come out here and just relax on the front porch. The weather is getting beautiful, so we can finally do that. Just kick our feet up, take Honey out there with us, listen to the birds, people watch, and just enjoy our new outdoor space. So my best advice for you is find a style or a look that you really, really love. It could be a high-end look, and then try and come up with your best ideas of how to recreate that look on a budget. And that's what I've done here. I really wanted that Pottery Barn look, but I don't want to spend the Pottery Barn prices. And I just used a lot of what I had and recycled it, upcycled it, or changed it and painted it. And paint goes so far. It is a super inexpensive way to give things a brand new look, refresh it, keeps it out of the landfill, keeps money in your pocket. So make sure to check the links down in the description box below where I'll have all the supplies that I used today for this makeover. I hope you enjoyed it. I'll have 2 more videos popping up on your screen that'll hopefully give you some more outdoor inspiration. Thanks so much for joining me today. Hit that thumbs up button, subscribe if you are new, and I will see you in the next one. Have a creative day.